Prynhawn da, a chroeso i'ch seremoni graddio. Mae'n braf iawn eich gweld chi gyd yma heddiw, gyda'ch teulu a'ch cyfeillion sydd wedi bod yn gefn i chi ar hyd y ffordd. Good afternoon and welcome to your graduation ceremony. It's delightful to see you all here today with your family and friends who have supported you along the way. It's always a joy to attend graduation, as it gives us an opportunity to reflect on the wonderful achievements we're celebrating today, and also perhaps to pause to think about what lies ahead. So what does come next? Well, in one form or another, what comes next is the rest of your life. Whilst you've been with us, I hope we've worked in partnership to ensure that you've not only learnt a great deal about your particular discipline, but you have at the same time acquired a whole host of other skills and experienced a wide range of opportunities so that you leave us as a more rounded, articulate person and, importantly, with the ability to forge your own path. The kind of skills that we hope you've acquired involve such things as the ability to analyze, critical thinking, organizational skills. You know those are the ones about getting your assignments in on time. The team-working skills involved in project work and in sport. The social and caring skills that are acquired through, for example, working with my friends in student volunteering Cardiff. These skills will be important in the years ahead, but the real test is firstly to know what skills you possess, and secondly, to know when and how to deploy them. This complex array of skills is just one way to describe the additional benefits that comes with a university education. I was brought up, like so many of us in South Wales at the time, to value education for its own sake. My father was a secondary school teacher whose own training was interrupted by the Second World War, but who encouraged me, my brother and my sister to go to university, but without too much worry about the subject that we were going to study. I realize now, of course, that he was encouraging us to make the most of the experience of going to university and the opportunities it offers for what we might call today personal development. Though looking back, perhaps in my case, a little more work and a little less sport would have been helpful. Students, as you leave this hall today, you join the congregation of the university and become part of a vibrant and inspiring alumni. I look at you and see our future. Be proud of being a Cardiff graduate. Go and share your knowledge. Encourage others to take up the challenge of discovering and then sharing knowledge. Don't be afraid to fail. We all fail at some time or another. Pick yourself up, decide what you need to learn from that experience, and with your head held high, step back into the light. Today is all about celebrating your success. Embrace it, enjoy it, but also appreciate it. Never stop learning. As you leave today, on behalf of Cardiff University, I wish you health, happiness, and success. Go out and make the world a better place. I now have the pleasure of introducing Gethin Davis, who has just finished his first year studying law and Welsh. Gethin will read a poem by Wales's inaugural national poet, Gwyneth Lewis. Many of you will have encountered Gwyneth's work before in the form of the 6-foot-high words, thought to be the biggest poem in the world, on the front of the Wales Millennium Centre. Gwyneth has been writer-in-residence at the University School of Physics and Astronomy and is now an honorary fellow. The poem, Education, was specially commissioned by Cardiff University. Diolch yn fawr a mwynhewch y seremoni. Thank you very much and enjoy the ceremony.
Education by Gwyneth Lewis. Beiddia feiddio, gwellhad o wneud, mynna geisio, parcha ddweud. Traws newidiad fydd dy glod, dy ddyfodol, mentro bod. Learning's a passport that returns you home a better person. It permits you to dare being daring, makes you secure with not knowing everything, helps you welcome some failure, forges an alloy with others' thinking. It is simple delight in mind and its motions, scintillates but isn't deceptive, admits the joy of institutes, is the open road to everywhere but bigotry. It's the shortest distance between you and me, and, if you're lucky, it never ends.
Brynholm da. Good afternoon. Welcome to Cardiff, to St David's Hall, and our 2014 graduation ceremony. I am Professor Sir Martin Evans, and I am privileged to be Chancellor of Cardiff University. May I please offer my warm congratulations to all of you who are graduating today. As you sit there, waiting to come up on stage, you must be feeling a mixture of emotions. I'm sure many of you feel excited, many of you relieved, but most of all, I hope you feel a great sense of achievement. All of you deserve many congratulations. Congratulations on winning admission in the first place. Cardiff is one of the most sought-after universities in the UK and across the world, and admission standards are high. Selection, as you probably remember, is extremely competitive. For every one of you sitting there, 6 or 7 applicants were fighting keenly to be in your place. Congratulations, and we all know what an achievement that is, and how many individual efforts and struggles and successes it has entailed to graduate. Congratulations on your years of study here. Research-led teaching is one of the distinctive features of Cardiff University, and your lecturers are some of the most original and pioneering thinkers in their chosen fields. Many of you may have participated in research projects, learnt to ask new questions, and to challenge conventional wisdom. Whether you stay in academic research or pursue another career, I hope that the free, inquiring Cardiff state of mind will stay with you. And importantly, congratulations and welcome to the many friends, partners, family members and supporters who join us today, many of whom may have travelled great distances to be here. We owe a great deal to the support of family and friends, both moral support, guidance and encouragement, but also, in many cases, considerable financial support. And I really urge those of you who are graduating today to send your heartfelt thanks to everyone who has helped you. Now, enjoy today, but don't think it's all over. This is the beginning of your future. You are entering on a journey of lifelong learning. In the modern world of mass communications, massive open online courses, Blackboard, YouTube, TED, virtual lectures, we face a fundamental question. With information everywhere, what is the role of university education? Now, in many ways, you need it more than ever. Your tutors will hope that much more than the knowledge they've imparted to you is understanding. Understanding of the methods of learning, of analysis, of intellectual thinking, which should serve you well throughout your days, So go out into the community, your community, to educate, to encourage thought, not prejudice, and be prepared to defend knowledge and education. All of you here today are a testament to the value of Cardiff University education, to the benefits of learning in an international environment, and of our research-led teaching. As I just mentioned, the internet helps share and distribute information, but the volume of misinformation reinforces more than ever before the need for evidence-based knowledge. I feel that by far the best prospect for responsible application and regulation of this knowledge must lie in a better informed public. And you, the modern graduates, must provide that information and interpretation. We must use this knowledge and how we apply it for the good of mankind around the world. And of course, it's this idea of application that underlies many of what things we're talking about. We know that most of our graduates move straight on into either further study and research or into employment immediately. It's highly applied. But also, application underscores the university's achievements. Our students are the most satisfied with their educational experience in Wales. That's according to the National Student Survey. And record numbers of students are offered the chance to apply their learning through the Cardiff University Research Opportunities Programme. And these achievements are reflected in the schools represented here today. The School of Dentistry this year celebrated 50 golden years of training dental surgeons. The school also established an exchange link for postgraduate research students and undergraduate dental students with a fourth medical military university in China. Just to interject, those of you who don't know, the medical military universities in China are a huge subset of very important general hospitals. It's not entirely military. And among the UK's dental schools, Cardiff has the highest percentage of graduate students who have gained a foundation training post in England and Wales. The School of Optometry goes from strength to strength under the new head of school, Professor Marcella Vortruba, who took up her post in January. It's been a hugely successful year for postgraduate taught courses, which demand outstripping supply. And in the recent Queen's Birthday Honours, our senior lecturer, Dr. Maggie Woodhouse, was awarded an OBE for services to optometry and people with disabilities. The School of Postgraduate Medical and Dental Education continues to win accolades. The school was given the highest number of votes by the Medical Women's Federation for the UK's most family-friendly deanery. The deanery is also offering a clinical leadership training fellowship to 4 trainees, the only UK deanery to do this. And the year has been rounded off with 2 prestigious innovation awards for ultravision, a new invention for removing smoke created in keyhole surgery. Finally, but not least, the School of Psychology continues to grow, invest and innovate. It's now ranked 40th in the world for psychology teaching and research excellence in the prestigious QS World Rankings. The school has secured investment of over £40 million to establish a brain imaging centre to support world-leading research into psychology, neuroscience and mental health. And in the Queen's Birthday Honours, Professor Nick Pidgeon received an MBE for services to climate change awareness and energy security policy. So, congratulations too on what students bring to Cardiff and to Wales. Many of you will have taken part in student volunteer in Cardiff. one of the largest such schemes in the country. You have given more than 50,000 hours of your time in the past year, helping more than 900 people each week. From, for example, the youth club established for young people with Down syndrome, to the day trips organised for young carers, you're a prime reason why Cardiff University is so valued in its home community. And sport plays an important part in university life. A lot of contribution this year, but in particular, Cardiff University retained the Varsity Shield, and there are numbers of athletes going to onto the international stage from Cardiff University for the upcoming Commonwealth Games. Take forward the determination and commitment you've demonstrated during your time here with you as you embark on your future career, please. You'll be amongst the professionals who will lead this and other nations. It will not be an easy job. There's a lot to be done, and I hope you'll all leave here with a solid determination to contribute to the culture, welfare, and prosperity of your family, your communities, and mankind. I urge you to be the gatekeepers of good sense and the educators for tomorrow. Thank you.
I will now read the proclamation, first in Welsh, then in English. Nerth gwlad ei gwybodaeth. Boed hysbys i holl aelodau'r Brifysgol ac ar hyd a lled y byd fod cynulliad o Brifysgol Caerdydd yn cael ei gynnal heddiw ym mhrif ddinas Cymru. O dan awdurdod Siarter Frenhinol y Brifysgol, mae'r cynulliad hwn yn cyfarfod i dderbyn y myfyrwyr sydd yn rhinwedd eu hastudiaethau a'i hysgol heictod, wedi'u harholi'n briodol yn unol â statudau'r Brifysgol, ac wedi'u cael yn deilwng o'i graddau. Wrth ddathlu llwyddiant y rhai sy'n graddio yn y cynulliad hwn, fe'i hatgoffwn o'i cyfrifoldeb i gyfrannu o werthoedd y Brifysgol hon. Nod iddynt hwy i'w ceisio drwy ei cyflawniadau, wasanaethu lles pawb, ymdrechu i sicrhau'r rhagoriaeth ym mhob peth ac yn boeni am ddyfodol ein byd. Gwrandewch yn awchus ar ddoethineb gan ei fod yn cynnig gobaith a gwirionedd ym mhob cenhedlaeth. Nerth gwlad ei gwybodaeth. A nation's strength is in its learning. Let it be known to all members of the university and throughout the world that today, in the capital city of Wales, a congregation of Cardiff University is taking place. Under the authority of the university's Royal Charter, this congregation meets to receive those students who, by virtue of their studies and scholarship, have been appropriately examined according to the statutes of the university and found worthy of their degrees. We celebrate the success of those who graduate in this congregation, and in doing so, remind them of their responsibility to share in the values of this university. It is for them to seek, through their achievements, to serve the common good, to strive for excellence on all things, and care for the future of our world. Be attentive to wisdom, for it offers hope and truth in every generation.
Naunda. Good afternoon. My name's Elizabeth Treasure. I'm the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, and it's my very great pleasure to welcome you all here this afternoon when I have the opportunity to receive these students to receive their awards from Cardiff University. Now, this is the formal part of the ceremony, when the students' names are read out by a representative of their school or their college as they cross the stage. But it's formal, but this is the bit we want you to also really enjoy. So, as each person's name is read out, we would like you to applaud, cheer, whoop, do whatever you like. If you go on too long, I will stop you to make space for the one following behind. But we do want you really to enjoy that. Once all the students for each award have crossed the stage and returned to their seats, I will ask them to stand. And at this point in the ceremony, and at other equivalent times, it's a tradition of the university for the Vice-Chancellor or his deputy to speak in Welsh to receive each group of graduates to their award. The Welsh phrase I will use when translated means, through the authority conferred upon me by the university, I receive you to the award of, and I will name the degree or certificate. I will then doff to you, and I expect that group of students to doff back to me, and then we will cheer and congratulate that entire group of students. So that's what's going to happen now. Professor Lewis.
I, Professor Michael Lewis, introduce those who have received the degree of Bachelor of Dental Surgery. Hasib Ashan Abasi. Mohsin Balal Aslam. Nasra Ali Bakshuren. Declan Peter Blakely. David John Broughton. Melanie Budd. Henry Chan. Jason Kanlung Chung. Laura Chu. Jessica Clifford. Charles Alexander Close. Hannah Louise Colquitt. Kieran Michael Thomas Crane. Unuju Desi. Julie Downey. Fraser Drummond. Bethan Jane Edwards. Thomas James Ellis. Patrick Joseph Emmanuel. Catherine Louise Evans. Malia T. Evans. Kawaja Mohideen Jawad Farid Uddin. Alid Mark Rees-Griffiths. Siddharth Gupta. Manus Hamill. Rachel Louise Hurd. Anwin James. Shoned Mai James. Yola Nesta Jenkins. Aaron Gwyneth Jones. Dominic Jones. Tesni Priest Matthias Jones. Ni'im Khalil. Emma Jane Langridge. Ross Paul Lewis. Mace Jazim Galib Madhi. Ifat Rizvana Malik. Sammy Salim McCulloch. Leah Elizabeth McDougall. Chugrag Mehta. Neil Basker Mehta. Vinay Mehta. Manal Mohammed. Alistair Paul Mordecai. Sarah Muscle. Aaron Paul Newman. Win Hafa Atra Nick Mansour. Pooja Pandya. Nikita Patel. Sarjil Patel. Sheena Rajendra Patel. Sarah Pick. Laura Pinker. Michael Craig Pope. Alice Kate Reed. Joe Morgan Seller. Victoria Ellen Shackleton. Chetan Shah. Rupra Shah. Savan Shah. Jerky Rat Sirai. Ellis Stiles. Aoife Natasha Swain. Chloe Thomas. Jack Thomas. Rodri Thomas. Tasker Rufus Thomas. Rhys James Watson.
So if all those who've just crossed the stage for the Bachelor of Dental Surgery would like to stand, please. Troi a awdurdod a brifysgol a ymthyrhiadwyd I mi, dybanu a chwi I radd baglor mewn llawfeddygaeth ddeintyddol ac I hoff ffreniau'r radd hon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Michael Lewis, Lewis introduce those who have received the degree of Bachelor of Science. Danielle Bryant. Sophie Elizabeth Delaney. George Diffie. Ilara Henning. Joshua Benjamin Kelly. Jessica Seton.
And if that group of students would like to stand, please. Troi awr dydod a brifysgol a ymtheriedwyd I mi, dybyniaf chwi I baglo mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I hodd threniau raf hon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Michael Lewis, introduce those who have received the Diploma of Higher Education. Rachel Bridgman. Amber Edwards. Sarah Yvonne Glover. Lauren Sonia Hellier. Hannah Louise Kelly. Rosemary Perry.
Troi awdurdod y brifysgol a ymtheriedwyd I mi, dybani ar chwi I ddiploma addysg uwch ac I hodd threniau'r radd hon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Marcella Vitruba, introduce those who have received the degree of Bachelor of Science. Mohammed Abid. Catherine Elizabeth Adams. Nadra Binti Ahmad Basri. Elizabeth Ainsworth. Luke Matthew Allen. Olga Aprianti. Andrew David Avery. Jane Diana Baker. Jennifer Baker. Jessica Avril Baker. Nicole Barber. Sarah Patricia May Barber. Jennifer Elizabeth Burnham. Sarah Elizabeth Butterworth. Nicholas Anthony Gordon Campbell. Vanessa C. Min Chu. Wee Hu Chong. Nazrinara Chowdhury. Christina Constantinides. Stephanie Davey. Rachel Louise de Carteret. Catherine Elizabeth Dixon. Devla Dorian. Catherine May Ellis. Thomas William Finney. Emma Louise Ginger. Harpal Singh Gruel. Mohammed Suleiman Hakim. Kira Hankins. Laura Alice Halen. Tariq Ali Hussein Hiji. Eleanor Hobby. Rian Richard Holder. Elizabeth Charlotte Hunt. Emily Jane Imber. Nicola James. Go Chunhui Janice. Amina Ifa Jawahir. Salman Khalid. Nicole Catherine King. James Lamb. Linda Lawrence. Yin San Yu. Ban Lydia. Mun Ching Lim. Georgina Phoebe Lucas. Amelia Lum. Rosie Martin. Benjamin Mather. David McCluskey. Amy McCoy. Jordan Elizabeth McKee. Ashley Mehta. Esther Mellows. Judith Mina Nieto. Naringa Modite. Claire Francis Murray. Nuradiwaya Binti Nordin. Wee Sing Ong. Hamish Patel. Manish Patel. Shruti Mira Patel. Razna Preet Riat. Rachna Rajan Rahyurara. Nida Shard. Payal Shah. Harsha Sinha. Daniel Shawn. Christian Paul Skocek. Jasmine Elizabeth Smith. Rachel Sean Stevens. Hiral Pankaj Shuchak. Ivy Tang. Rachel Hannah Taylor. Catherine Rose Tomlinson. Rupali Tour. Amy Unwin. Tina Vodovnik. Jessica Bawan Wang. Christopher John Williams. Kim Rebecca Williams. Sarah Wyatt.
And if those students could please stand. Trwy awdurdod y Brifysgol, ymthriedwyd I mi, dyrbyniaf chwi I radd baglwr man gwyddoniaeth ac I hodd ffreniau radd hon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Edward Wilding, introduce those who have received the degree of Bachelor of Science. Beth Pamela May Ainley. Jessica Michelle Aldridge. Hayley Alley. Caitlin Ismay Argument. Rebecca Alana Armstrong. Catherine Mary Atkinson-Jones. Hope Bailey. Catherine Rebecca Bainbridge. Lucy Emma Baker. Samantha Barker. Rhiannon Sarah Bennett. Tanya Berry. Rebecca Ann Blood. Hannah Amy Bowker. Jade Bowyer. Katie Brady. Georgiana Niobe Brown. Isabel Laura Butcher. Zoe Carswell. Jessica Cartwright. Yasmin Lan Wynne Chalmers. Amelia Rose Chapman. Amy Chinner. Kirsty Collins. Eleanor Collinson. Hannah Coulson. Emily Davis. Matthew Davis. Rianne Rebecca Davis. Chloe Louise Davison. Katie Charlotte Dawes. Sophie Helen Dickinson. Hannah Dobson. Robin Dowland. Francois Daniel Dutoy. Hannah Duncan. Emily Louise Dunn. Rebecca Easton. Renee Ebanks. Catherine Maria Edmonds. Hannah Rose Ellison. Rebecca Kate Emerson. Jonathan Wynne Evans. Catherine Evans. Rachel Louise Evans. Rhiannon Evans. Tavia Emily Evans. Gemma Victoria Farley. Claire Farmer. Catherine Rachel Fillingham. Rose Ann Fisher. Ellen Fitton. Susanna Fredericks. Helen Marie Freer. Elizabeth Frost. Kay Jean Go. Louise Victoria Goodwin. Amy Gornall. Naomi May Green. Rachel Ruth Greenaway. Gitto Gwynn. Holly Hale. Emma Horling. Liam Robertson Hamill. Kirsty Louise Hammercott. Sarah Louise Hardy. Francesca Hemmington. Maria Hicks. Bethan Hughes. Rhiannon Hughes. Robin John Hunt. Olivia Hurst. Tiong Su Huai. Amber Izzat. Lindsay Ann Jackson. Laura Elizabeth Jagger. Luke James. Sana Javid. Anna Louise Jenkins. Sophie Jenkins. Emily Jones. Hailwen Meyer Jones. Poppy Amelia Jones. Rachel Louise Jones. Rachel Claire Kemp. Danica Zoe Mary Kennedy. Bethany Kirkland. Bronwyn Kite. Stephanie Kliski. Christina Knudsen. Karen Lawson. Rosie Leach. Madeline Leather. Sophie Liddermont. Xu Ying Lim. Bethany List. Georgina Lefort. Alison Sian Lloyd. April Elizabeth Lloyd. Amy Louise Luya. Emily Isabella Malay Lambert. Nadia McAloon. Michael Joseph McCann. Jennifer Claire McGinn. Rebecca Louise McMillan. Zoe Meredith. Rowan Metcalf. Kerry Jean Middleton. Sarah Louise Momber. Ailith Francis Morrie. Ben Orrell. Lucy Florence Orton. Sophie Pardesi. Emma Louise Parker. Olivia Parker. Elise Paulson. Rebecca Louise Pierce. Lawrence Gordon Petts. Sarah Pillar. Hannah Louise Pontin. Sarah Rebecca Potts. Eden Rose Powells. Glesney Ann Price. Catherine Jane Price. Kate Rebecca Quigley. Anisa Raheen. Rhiannon Elizabeth Reed. Tabitha Morgan Rees. Sophie Rhodes Martin. Natalie Ann Richards. Rebecca Richardson. Alessandra Roberts. Alice Bethan Roberts. Fabrienne Elizabeth Rogers. Scott Rogers. Natasha Amy Rogerson. Catherine Emma Ross. Victoria Suzanne Rothery. Rebecca Claire Rowlands. Katie Sambrooks. Naomi Lauren Scott. Charlotte Silcock. Bronya Louise Simons. Anna Rose Smith. Emma Smith. Chloe Maureen Stoneman. Hannah Summers. Tracy Sun. Nathaniel Mark Swetnam. Eleanor Simmons. Ruth Francis Taylor. Emily Chu. Hannah Rachel Thomas. Emily Grace Thompson. Edward Tolson. Sian Trulove. Abigail Tunney. Emily Louise Walls. Hannah Walsgrove. Charlotte Watson. Sophie Louisa Webb. Claire Weeks. Daniel White. Katie Victoria Wilkinson. Caris Williams. Kaisha Williams. Natalie Janet Alice Williams. Sasha Williamson. Joseph Wilton. Stephanie Windsor. Esther Winslow. Francesca Wood. Kerry Nicole Woodward. Nisha Wolfenden. Jessica Jane Wire. Natalia Joanna Zazachna.
And if you'd like to stand up, please. Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol, ymfferiadwyd I mi, dybanu a chwi I gradd bag lorma yn gwyddoniaeth ac I hoff ffreniau a gradd hon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Dylan Jones, introduce those who've received the Certificate of Higher Education. Ar wy fi, ar athro Dylan Jones, yn cyflwyno rai sydd wedi derbyn y disgysgrif addysg uwch. Emily Charlotte David. A Nisi Khan.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymfferiadwyd I mi, dybanu a chwi I disdysgrif addysg uwch ac I hoff ffreniau a gradd hon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Dylan Jones, introduce those who've received the Postgraduate Certificate. Ar wy fi ar athro Dylan Jones yn cyflwyno rai sydd wedi derbyn y disgysgrif ôl-ryddedig. Iman Salem Medi. David Rowland Jenkins. Emma Kate Short. Nicole Joy Louise Trask.
Troy, oh, I'm sorry, would you like to stand? I'm sorry. Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol, ymfferiadwyd I mi, dybanu a chwi I disdysgrif ôl-ryddedig ac I hoff ffreniau a gradd hon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Dylan Jones, introduce those who received the Postgraduate Diploma. Ar wy fi ar athro Dylan Jones yn cyflwyno rai sydd wedi derbyn y diploma ôl-ryddedig. Claire Curtin. Bashika Naidu. Jennifer Marie Perry. Aimea Marie Siobhan Rowan. Raid Ali. Anna Charlotte Davis. Delith Ann Johnston. Ewart Farrell Piers Johnston. Catherine Felicity Mills. Swaroop Vasudev Shanbahag.
And if you'd like to stand. Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol ymfferiadwyd I mi, dybanu a chwi I ddiploma ôl-ryddedig ac I hoff ffreniau a gradd hon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Dylan Jones, introduce those who received the degree of Master of Clinical Dentistry. Ar wy fi ar athro Dylan Jones yn cyflwyno rai sydd wedi derbyn gradd athro mewn dentyddiaeth glinigol. Ghazala Haiba a Ethidra. Salah Nasser Salah Edin Riyal. Safa Somi. Wan Noor Hayati Wan Abd Manan.
Trwy awdurdod y Brifysgol ymtheriedwyd I mi, dybani achwi I radd athro mewn gwyddoniaeth ddeintyddol ac I hodd ffreniau radd hon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Dylan Jones, introduce those who received the degree of Master of Dental Science. Ar wy fi ar athro Dylan Jones yn cyflwyno rai sydd wedi derbyn gradd athro mewn gwyddoniaeth ddeintyddol. Alia Al-Raibi. Triona Marie Fahey. Sean Matthew Hamilton. Noor Aliana Binti Zainul Arif.
If you'd like to stand. Trwy awdurdod y Brifysgol ymtheriedwyd I mi, dybaniaf chwi I radd athro mewn gwyddoniaeth ddeintyddol ac I hodd ffreniau radd hon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Dylan Jones, introduce those who received the degree of Master of Science. Ar wy fi ar athro Dylan Jones yn cyflwyno rai sydd wedi derbyn gradd athro mewn gwyddoniaeth. Leah Rachel Adams. Elin Elizabeth Robinson. Aisha Tahir. Samesa Nasir. Ali Al-Hussaini. Ashika Aziz Chowdhury. Alison Fina. Neil David Hawkes. Mujamil Irfan. Brian James Jenkins. Susan Mary Jenkins. Tracy Fiona Sandham. Frederick Speyer. Sean Ellen Williams. Catherine Foster. Carolyn Emma Victoria Lewis. Jessica Lucy Morris. Jonathan Anthony Patrick. Charlotte Francis Powell. James Mark Randall. Bethany Charlotte Routley. Alison Margaret Dennehy. Chrisandria Sharam Ambos. Sophocles Koudounas, Tariq Karim Sabah, Kanru Wu.
And if you'd like to stand, please. Where have you gone? Oh, you're over there. Sorry. Trwy awdurdod y brifysgol, ymffurfiadwyd I mi dibaniaf chwi I radd athro man gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffreniau radd hon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Dylan Jones, introduce those who have received the degree of Master of Philosophy. Rwy fi yr athro Dylan Jones yn cyflwyno rai sydd wedi derbyn gradd athro mewn athroniaeth. Nathan Davis.
Thank you, Nathan. Trwy awdurdod y brifysgol ymffurfiadwyd I mi, dibaniaf chwi I radd athro mewn athroniaeth ac I holl ffreniau radd hon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Dylan Jones, introduce those who have received the degree of Doctor of Clinical Psychology. Rwy fi, Athro Dylan Jones, yn cyflwyno rai sydd wedi derbyn gradd doethur mewn psycholeg clinigol. Hazel Barker. Bronwen Elizabeth Leslie Davis. Thomas Francis Haw. Hannah Elizabeth Moore, Rachel Elizabeth Ann Parsons, Kelly Ann Paul, Catherine Ward, Ross Michael Watson.
Trwy awdurdod y brifysgol a ymffurfiadwyd I mi, dibaniaf chwi I radd doethio mewn psycholeg glinigol ac I hoff ffreniau radd hon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Dylan Jones, introduce those who've received the degree of Doctor of Educational Psychology. Rwy fi, yr athro Dylan Jones, yn cyflwyno rai sydd wedi derbyn gradd doethur mewn psycholeg addysg. Laura Jane Craven. Reem Olivia Dean. Lisa Nairi Edwards. Naomi Ruth Erasmus. Christina Lorraine Evans. Sarah Louise Fitzgibbon. Robert Brian Green. Stephanie Helen Homewood. Amanda Frances Kelly. Amy Catherine Self. Lorraine Jean Silva. Kaylee Story. Katie Jane Wildridge.
And if you'd like to stand up. Thank you. Troi awdurdod a brifysgol a ymfferiadwyd I mi, dyma ni archwi I radd doethio mewn seicoleg addysg ac I holl ffreniau'r radd hon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Dylan Jones, introduce those who received the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Ar wy fi yr athro Dylan Jones yn cyflwyno rai sydd wedi derbyn gradd doethir mewn athroniaeth. Magdalena Amduchik. Amr Al-Riaz. John D. Anderson. Ernest Anthony Azopardi. Lee Maria Bauer. Sabrina Rachel Cohen-Hatton. Stephen Daniel Cross. Matthew James Dunn. James Richard Ferguson. Katarzyna Barbara Gowell-Bevan. Kerry Elizabeth Gilroy. Isabel Habis. Rachel Joy Hiscox. Kate Jane Hodgson. Rachel Ann Howard Jones. Eleanor Gale Johnson. Frances Elizabeth Jones. Hannah Jane Jones. Rachel Grace Kent. Eleanor Koduna. David William Maidment. Sean Rebecca Morgan. Semela Catherine Milona. Alison Yuk Sang Ng. Alexander Luke Nolan. Rebecca Louisa Pepper. Rebecca Jane Phillips. Anna Louise Powell. Georgina Powell. Jonathan Peter Shine. Victoria Alice Smythe. Alan Stone. Merrin Jane Thomas. Matthew Wade. Fraser Young.
And if that final group could stand up, please. Troi awdurdod a brifysgol, ymtheried oed I mi, dybani a chwi I radd doethio mewn athroniaeth ac I hodd ffreniau radd hon. Congratulations.
We now come to an important part of the ceremony, and that is the recital of the medical oath. Can I ask all of those of you who have received an undergraduate diploma or degree in any aspect of health care to stand? Can I also invite the platform party to stand, please? The oath reader, Mr. Gethin Davis, will declare the oath first in Welsh and then in English, and then ask you graduates to agree the oath with the words, I do.
Addawaf mae fy mlaenoriaeth gyntaf fydd gofalu am fy nghleifion. Byddaf yn garedig gyda phob claf ac ymdrechaf I gyfathrebu yn effeithlon gyda nhw. Byddaf yn parchu urddas a'u preifatrwydd a'i hawl I gyfrannu'n llawn at benderfyniadau ynglŷn â'i gofal. Byddaf yn onest ac yn ddibynadwy bob amser, ac yn parchu a diogelu gwybodaeth gyfrinachol. Ni fydd fy nghredoau personol yn amharu ar ofal fy nghleifion. Trwy gydnabod cyfyngiadau fy nghymhwysedd, byddaf bob amser yn diweddaru fy ngwybodaeth am sgiliau proffesiynol. Os bydd gennyf reswm da I gredu nad wyf fi neu gydweithiwr yn addas I weithio, byddaf yn gweithredu'n gyflym I ddiogelu cleifion rhag perygl. Ni fyddaf yn camddefnyddio fy sefyllfa broffesiynol, a byddaf yn gweithio gyda chydweithwyr yn y ffordd orau lles y cleifion. Yn yr holl faterion hyn, ni fyddaf byth yn gwahaniaethu na'n heg, yn erbyn fy nghleifion, na'n cydweithwyr, a byddaf yn barod I gyfiawnhau fy ngweithredoedd iddynt ym mhob achos. Rhoddaf yr addewid yma ar fy llw, yn wirfoddol ac o ddifrif. I promise that I will make the care of my patients my first concern. I will be considerate to all my patients and will strive to communicate effectively with them. I will respect my patients' dignity and autonomy, and their right to be fully involved in decisions about their care. At all times, I will be honest and trustworthy, respecting and protecting confidential information. My personal beliefs will not prejudice my care of patients. Recognizing the limits of my competence, I will keep my professional knowledge and skills up to date. If I believe that I or a colleague may not be fit to practice, I will act quickly to protect patients from risk. I will not abuse my professional position and will work with colleagues in the ways that best serve patients. I will never discriminate unfairly against patients or colleagues, and I will always be prepared to justify my actions to them. I make this promise solemnly, freely, and upon my honour. If you agree to the terms of the oath, say, I do.
Diolch.
Can I now invite all of you who have received your awards this afternoon to stand so that you can receive the greetings of the Chancellor, Sir Martin Evans, and Gemma Wheeler, the representative of the Students' Union. Please stand.
May your care ever be for the good name of our university and the well-being of the world.
You are now members of the distinguished alumni of this university. May your association with the university be cherished and be constant throughout your life, and may your care be ever for the fellowship of your university and the welfare of all people. I'm sure that you're all very proud graduates, would like to join in a long-standing tradition at Cardiff University at these ceremonies. That is to pay a special thank you, a tribute to your families and friends who have supported you in so many ways over the years, as well as to thank the academic staff and all those who have helped you reach this important point in your life today. Can I therefore invite you to turn around to greet your family and friends and to say a special and public thank you, and by giving them all an enthusiastic round of warm applause.
Thank you, and please be seated.
Prynhawn Da. As Chief Constable of South Wales Police, Peter Vaughan is one of the UK's most senior police officers. His is an exemplary record of public service and dedication to the Welsh community. He has strong personal and professional connections with the people of Wales. Born in Merthyr Tydfil, Peter achieved a first-class degree in Management Science and Operations Research from Swansea University. He joined the South Wales Police in 1984, where he progressed from Superintendent of the Community Safety Department to the head of the Basic Command Unit in Merthyr Tydfil, and from there onto the post of Divisional Commander. Like many able and busy leaders, Peter has also achieved outstanding academic success. While undertaking the Association of Chief Police Officers Strategic Command course, he achieved a diploma in applied criminology and police management from the University of Cambridge. In 2003, he was appointed Assistant Chief Constable for what was the Wiltshire Constabulary, and there became responsible for all operational matters, commanding a number of high-profile, critical incidents during his 4 years in the force. Clearly, he was not looking for a quiet and peaceful life. In 2007, he returned to the South Wales Police as Assistant Chief Constable, and then he became the Deputy Chief Constable. He had clearly heard of the 2,000 students in the School of Healthcare Studies and such law-abiding citizens that they were. In 2010, he was appointed the Chief Constable. During his tenure as Chief Constable, he has provided strong transformational leadership, which has benefited from the fact that almost uniquely he has served at every substantive police rank, from Constable to Chief Constable. This has given him an insight into the many diverse facets of the police force and the communities they serve. His visionary style, built on experience, intuitive leadership, and energy, have served the nation and the people of Wales extremely well. And all of this at a time of unprecedented financial challenge. For some time now, Peter has had a very close association with Cardiff University. He sits on the strategy board of our university's Police Science Institute. He is there at the heart of higher education for the police in Wales and beyond. He is committed to education and to research that is providing the evidence for police practice and police work, as well as helping to influence the national agenda in developing evidence-based policing. He has worked tirelessly to ensure the funding for this vital institute continues, and this despite significant cuts in the public sector and in the policing budget. His many diverse roles include the chair of the local Criminal Justice Board and the Safer South Wales Group, and the chair of the Joint Emergency Services Group. He is also president of the Association of Police Health and Safety Advisors. He is vice president of the Association of Chief Police Officers and chairs the ACPO Acquisitive Crime Portfolio. The association brings together the expertise and experience of chief police officers from the United Kingdom, providing a professional forum to share ideas and best practice, coordinate resources, and help to deliver effective policing. He has been instrumental in developing a more holistic, preventative approach to crime reduction with both private and commercial sectors. So clearly a man not content with an armchair and passive comment on the state of the nation. And when considering his achievements, a picture develops of a man with a strong sense of civic responsibility. His commitment to public service becomes increasingly apparent when one considers his other extracurricular activities. He is chair of the Cwm Taf Regional Collaboration Board for the Welsh Government's Public Service Leadership Group, a member of the Prince's Trust Council Cymru, a trustee of the South Wales Police Youth Trust. He is patron of Heartbeat 95, a charity which provides support for heart patients on leaving hospital, and a trustee of St John Cymru Wales. In 2013, he was recognised with the Order of St John for forging links between the charity and the South Wales Police. And finally, he was awarded the Queen's Police Medal in the 2013 New Year's Honours. I am reliably informed that when at last he has a fleeting moment to pause, he, as a true friend of Wales, is a dedicated Welsh rugby fan and supporter. Am rwderfus is-ganghello, cyflwynaf I ti, Peter Vaughan, fel cwmrada am ryddedd Prifysgol Caerdydd.
Trwy awchrdydod a rothwyd I mi gan y cyngor, dybyniaf chwi fel cymrawd yr anrydedd Prifysgol Caerdydd.
Boneddigian and Boneddigesau, prynawn da, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Chancellor, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, University staff, graduates and guests, I'd like to offer my humble thanks for this fabulous honour that you bestowed on me this afternoon. It really has touched me. To all the students that are going to graduate this week, and especially those from the schools of Dentistry, Optometry, Postgraduate Medicine and Dentistry and Psychology, congratulations. Really well done. I also want to echo the thanks to friends and family for the support that you have given your loved ones. It's my experience that without such support, you will not be able to achieve anything within your life. For me, it's 30 years ago since I left university with my degree in my hands, and it does feel like only yesterday that I set out on my journey with South Wales Police, which I've had the pleasure of serving in every part of the force area. A quick journey to Wiltshire for 3 years, and then back to South Wales, where we enjoy some fantastic relationships with Cardiff University, and in particular the University Police Science Institute, where we really use evidence to drive out efficiencies and make sure that we are using that evidence to help our communities to continue to be safe. And at a time of great austerity, we're turning in some of the best performance that we've ever done. So to every graduate here today, you are now stepping on the first small but vitally important steps that will mark your future. Reflect on the possibility that in 30 years' time you could be stood here delivering this speech. It's quite scary, believe you me. As you start that journey today, do you mind if I share some of my experience and some things that I have learned that have helped me throughout my career and throughout my life? There's not too many of them, so I won't be too long. Be clear about your expectations. Set out your personal vision and mission. Be clear on your standards and values. Set the bar high and don't settle for anything else. Good communication is vital. It's the keystone to success. To be a good communicator, you certainly have to be a very good listener as well. A thing I have found is that change is constant. Embrace it as change, from change, new opportunities will arise. Barack Obama commented, "Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change we seek." I have certainly found that if you keep looking back, you'll miss the opportunities that are going to present themselves in the future. Don't miss those opportunities. It's you that will shape the future, and today is a great starting point. Resilience and flexibility are crucial. Keep on trying and adapting. It's my experience that people judge you more on how you react to adversity and failure and less on how you deal with success. Winston Churchill once said, success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. So don't lose your enthusiasm. Provide strong leadership. Leadership is present at all levels. Nurture it and bring people along the journey with you. Be positive, be proactive, and have a can-do attitude. You will encourage trust and confidence through fairness, openness and honesty. Prioritise. You can't do everything at the same time. Think of what you want to achieve and do first things first. Seek efficiency wherever you can find it. That doesn't mean cutting things out. It means identifying what matters and what is needed and concentrate on those things. Retain balance. Various old wives' tales about Jack and the effect of all work on his psyche can't be wrong. Make time to think, make time not to think. You will benefit from pausing and reflecting. Certainly make time for your family and friends. The last thing, enjoy. Your work is going to be a huge part of your life. Try and find something that you love doing and do some great work. Remember also to have some fun along the way. Llongyfarchiadau, congratulations to every one of you. Enjoy yourselves tonight and have a fantastic evening, and all the very best. Thank you very much.
As Chancellor of the University, I now have the duty to draw these proceedings to a close. And this occasion, graduation, is one of the most pleasurable in the university calendar. It's a joy to be on the stage and to see the pride and relief of all the new graduates as they come through. Your smiles on your face, wonderful. And it's very nice that today we've had the opportunity to share this occasion with an illustrious honorary fellow, Peter Vaughan, who received the honorary fellowship. Peter, as you've just heard, is the Chief Constable of South Wales Police. And in 2007, he returned to South Wales Police as Assistant Chief Constable before securing the top job in 2010. He's been closely helpful to the university and associated with us. We are delighted to have a confirmed and continued association. And I think it's been very nice. Thank you very much for those few exceedingly well-chosen words, which I know it's been a long afternoon, but I hope you listened to very carefully. Now, I trust that the pride and joy that you feel today will stay with you always. In the years to come, I hope you'll look back at your time in Cardiff University and realise that the happiness you've experienced, the friendships you have made, and the depth of knowledge and experience gained have all served you well in the journey through life. Today, you join the worldwide family of Cardiff alumni. It's a family that helps you stay in touch with each other and with us. Cardiff students are valued around the world for their skills, knowledge and attitude. And I hope you'll remember and share your experience, and that you'll come back to see us often, and you'll continue to support us so that new generations can benefit, as you have done, from the outstanding teaching and learning here at Cardiff University. So, on behalf of Cardiff University, your academic staff, the officers, your fellow students, and that great body of alumni throughout the world, I wish you every success in the future. Good luck and safe journey home. Good afternoon.
Please stand for the academic procession.